if and when that comes to fruition, how would you react to that?
Yeah, so first of all, not accurate.
Okay.
So there is a provision right now in the agreement between the NHL and the NHLPA, and then, of course, ourselves, the CHL and the NHL, that does allow the 19-year-old players to play, a fixed number of games in the AHL, but does require them to go back to junior hockey.
Okay.
So in this current round of negotiations with the collective bargaining with the NHL and the NHLPA, they've agreed to open that provision and look at what that might look like going forward, and whether providing teams and general managers the leeway to do something like that is in the best interests of the league, in the best interests of the development environment. So as it stands today, nothing has actually been decided about mechanics or anything like that, if it is even to go forward. And those are discussions that we actually are very much active in with the NHL in talking about how best to proceed and move forward. We would certainly contend that the AHL is not the best environment for a 19-year-old. Very, very few 19-year-olds, in fact. It's not just about scoring 100 points in the OHL that decides, kind of whether that person should be moving on or not. You think about a 19-year-old, think about Easton Cowan coming back to the Knights this year. He's the man, right? He's the man. He's the man on the ice, he's the man off the ice, in the dressing room. All around media, all those sorts of things, the leadership qualities, all the pieces that make for a great NHL or a great prospective NHL hockey player that they can gather. The AHL is a man's league, right? There are men trying to make the NHL. And, we certainly contend that the environment in the CHL is much better suited. And it is also not just about that player, but it's also about developing all of the future players so that next year's draft, the year after that, all are quality drafts because those players have been playing against elite players as well.
With Brian Crawford, the commissioner of the OHL. And when I'm curious about this, because, there's 3 leagues, 3 commissioners. London obviously just won the Memorial Cup. In your rookie season as the commissioner, what was that experience like for you? And how do the 3 commissioners kind of handle the battle once you get to the finish line?
Well, that's the interesting thing. All 3 commissioners are relatively new, really within 2 years. Mario Cecchini being the most veteran of the group, Dan Neer, and then myself. So all relatively new in our positions from different backgrounds, quite diverse from really the commissioners that were previously in the role. So the 3 of us, along with Dan McKenzie, the president of the CHL, work together, extremely well, extremely closely, on a almost daily sometimes, but certainly weekly basis on all the matters related to the CHL and our respective leagues. And of course, there's the competitive spirit. I wanted the OHL to be hoisting the Memorial Cup at the end of all of it. And, we might have sat next to each other to watch the game, and we're definitely jabbing each other a little bit here and there. So, it's a great collegial environment. We are kind of lockstep in making sure that the CHL, is the best league in the world and continues to grow and expand and go in new directions that, make it an even better product for the fans and the communities that, we're lucky to be in.
Yeah, I love hearing that. I love the OHL. I love the CHL. I think I speak for Canadians from coast to coast. I'm not telling you anything you don't know, Brian, but I appreciate your insight as always. And enjoy the rest of the summer. We'll do it again in the fall. Thank you for this.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
There he is, Brian Crawford, commissioner of the OHL. So interesting that, he brings up a very good point about keeping your, I guess, ability to go to the NCAA. That was always an issue for a lot of 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds. But now that the rules are completely changed, you don't have to play like junior B or junior A. You can go to the OHL, you can go to the CHL and play, even if your intention is to leave. But you can get 2 years out of, a kid that goes to college where you didn't get to have that in the past. And obviously what their attack plan is, based on what Brian's insinuating, is get them in and try to keep them. But, we'll see what happens with the NHL stuff if they open the door for a 19-year-old to play.
I like that rule, I got to be honest.
To what? Allow them to go play in the American League?
Yeah, because every year at training camp, just covering the Leafs, there's always one, not always, but there's usually one player who is shouldn't really be going back to junior. He's probably too good for junior, but he's clearly not good enough for the NHL. And it's well, what do you do with him? Cowan was a great example last year. It's he had this unbelievable year 2 seasons ago, and then he comes to camp and it's he's not ready. It's very clear he's not ready. And like, what are your options? Like, you can't put him in the NHL because he's not ready, and you can't put him in the AHL because he's too young. So like, so you just have to send him back, and it's like that doesn't feel like a fair solution for him,
even for the player. Exactly.
Yeah, like I know what Brian's saying. Like,
every league has like he's representing the Ontario Hockey League, which he should. That's his
100%.
job. You know, but yeah, I mean, and I hear you. And what I think, what'll be interesting from a PA standpoint is if that player's playing in the American League, is his pro contract starting? Like, is his entry level officially starting, even though he's playing the American League?
I would think no.
But if that's the case, then there's no, like, we're just going to start him in the American League and then bring him up. Like, the thing is about going back to junior, you're in junior. There's no calling you back up. What if you keep a 19-year-old, plays in the American League through 30 games, you're like, he's ready for the NHL. Can you bring that kid up? Or is there an agreement that he's got to stay in the American League the whole year?
So
okay, then if I'm the player, I'm like, I'm a
comes up.
But
then what does he get paid?
But if the PA, exactly, you're like, I'm a professional then. Like, if you want me to play in the American League as a professional, I'm starting my NHL
I think
contract.
Honestly, like, I haven't thought this through, but I would think a team would be okay with that. Like, you want to burn 1 year the entry level just playing like
those are so valuable though, man.
They are, and they're not, like, because like he's burning it in a year, he's not doing anything, so he's like, you know what I mean, you're getting closer to becoming a restricted free agent with your next contract, but you haven't done anything. Like, it's almost
so in terms of him building up his value and what case he's going to make.
Like, I don't
yeah, I guess you could spin it either way.
Sure.
But it's just a fascinating time. Like, and he brings up a good point. Like, the exceptional players are going to have the opportunity to go down there. But he said there's 2 players in the O. I believe I've heard some rumors or reports that there's already players like committed after next year to go down. And it's about the money. Like, that's what you can't control. Like, yes, it's tough if you're 18 down there. Yes, it's tough if you're 19. But if a college is like, I'll give you $1 million, I'm willing to test it out. If I'm 18 and you give me $1 million or $500,000 American, I'm going. I'm not playing in Peterborough anymore.
This may be a dumb question. I don't know anything about this. Could they pay players here? Like, could junior teams pay players? Do they not make enough money?
Well, you get paid,
but it's like nothing.
You get paid like I used to get $150 a week.
No, but like, could you play a player $100,000?
That gets dicey because then I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, then I guess ostensibly you could technically open the books to do anything, but then are the players unionized? Do you have a salary cap? Like, that's the thing about the NIL stuff in the States. It's just bedlam.
Yeah.
It's just all hell's broken loose. There's no limit on anything. There's no cap. There's nothing. All right, Steve Phillips in about 15 minutes. Overdrive continues. TSN 1050 and on TSN 2.